What's up, YouTube? I'm back. I got another video for you. Today we're going to be talking about shame. Last week I talked about loneliness, this will kind of be in the same vein as that. That video that I did last week on loneliness is, as of right now, my most viewed video. Incredible. But yeah, this is kind of, I don't want to make just depressing videos on this channel. But that is kind of the point of this channel right now, is just kind of, when I think about something I really want to talk about, or if I'm feeling a certain way, and I want to talk about it, kind of just rap about it. And then maybe, people who see it could, take away some things from it, and, maybe we can work through some things together, right? But today, again, we're talking about shame. What is shame? Let's get that out of the way real quick. What is shame? From what I've read, shame is thought to have evolved as a way for us to conform to social norms, the social environment around us, a way to maintain bonds. Shame is usually felt when we feel mistreated or unworthy or flawed or inadequate. Can even stem from trauma. Shame can make people want to, hide from their problems, run from their problems. It can make people want to, just withdraw. Can also cause, low self-esteem. Then, of course, shame can lead to, broader mental health issues like anxiety and depression. So that's kind of the rundown of it. I'm sure we've all felt shame, everybody. That's kind of a universal thing, I feel. Of course, we have like the thing where it's like, shameless or shamelessness, right? We can, how we see people do certain things and we think, how do they do that without, without feeling shame or without, I kind of wanted to tackle certain things in an order. I want to kind of start with, feeling inadequate or unworthy. That's a big one. We talk about imposter syndrome. That's a word that gets thrown around a lot nowadays with all this therapy speak everywhere. But, it is pertinent, right? Maybe if you accomplish something, or if you, get somewhere that maybe you don't feel like you belong there, you kind of feel shame over that. Or, the flip side of that, you feel like you should be doing more, you should be farther along than you are right now. And then you kind of got to deal with, the people around you kind of maybe looking down on you or laughing at you about where you are. I've been there. I actually had a story not too long ago. I was at like a family function, and what happened was, I saw someone, family member I hadn't seen in a really long time. They were asking me, it was an older person. They were asking me like, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? What do you do for a living? And I said, I'm just making pizzas, all right? And they laughed right in my face, It sucked. It didn't feel great, right? Of course, I felt shame, but I just kind of realized, like, okay, dude. Yeah, I don't know. My personal philosophy here is like, okay, I'm young, I'm 22. Of course, there's a lot of different things I could have done. There's a lot of things I could have done differently already in my life. I'm so young. I'm young, but there's already so many things I could have done differently to be further along, to have more money, to have a better job. I could even be in college right now. I don't go to college. I've never been to college. I could have done better in high school, in school in general. I could could have tried harder. I could have applied myself better right back there. But here we are, right? And my personal philosophy is that, yeah, it's true. A lot of things could have been done differently. But if things were done even slightly differently, I wouldn't have a lot of things that I have now, right? If I had gone to college right out of school, or, you know, gone to the union that I wanted to right out of school, I wouldn't have met my best friends today, right? People that have legitimately changed my life for the better. I wouldn't have met them, wouldn't have known them, right? I wouldn't have a lot of things that I have today that make me happy, right? I wouldn't have had the same life experiences that have taught me certain things that I have now, that I'm very, very appreciative that I have had those lessons. So yeah, that's my philosophy. I really try not to have like regrets like that. And maybe that's misguided. You know, maybe later on in life I'll learn differently. But that's kind of how I feel about it now. And that's, you know, kind of what I'm trying to say to you people, is someone laughs in your face because you're not a millionaire by age 19, right? Right out of high school, right? They're the clowns, okay? And it might sound like cope, but that, in this day and age, in this economy, are we serious? But no, yeah, don't let that get to you. Don't let that get to you. Because again, you have to take life at your own pace. In my example, I get down on myself. I do. I feel shame that I am not further along, that I don't have a better job, that I don't have more money. I do. I feel those things. But you have to remember, not everyone is Elon Musk, or not everyone is. It's also not like 1960 anymore, where you could just get right out of high school and, you know, most people could get out of high school and get a good job and then boom, you know. Yeah, try not to, and I know it can be, trust me, I know it can be difficult to not feel inadequate, to not feel unworthy. Those things just happen, right? Those feelings creep in. No matter how hard you try, sometimes they creep up on you. It can be difficult, understandable, been there. But again, you know, you just gotta, you can't give in too much. You can't give into those feelings too much, and you can't let other people feed into that, or bring those things out of you because of the way they feel about it, right? It's your life, essentially. That kind of brings me into the next part of it, where it's like, okay, maybe you feel like an outsider. Maybe you feel like you're flawed and other people are kind of mistreating you for it. Or you feel like, maybe you just feel like you're being mistreated for it. Again, do not let people put these pressures on you for liking the things you like, or doing the things you do, or the choices you've made, right? It's ridiculous. When you really get down to it, it's ridiculous. There's just some people that, like, you're never gonna be able to please, right? I mean, you could climb Mount Everest, right? You could summit Mount Everest. You could become a billionaire. You could marry Scarlett Johansson. You could solve world hunger single-handedly, right? And these people would still find a way to diminish you for it, or you know, see like, oh, that's not enough, right? There's just some people you're never going to be able to please, and there's often correlation there, right? From my experience, at least, there's often a lot of correlation there between people that have kind of, you know, looked at me sideways when I tell them I'm not, you know, in college, or in a union, or, you know, a millionaire by now, right? Yeah. So I would say, like, instead of instead of trying to achieve things in your life because other people are making you feel ashamed that you haven't achieved these things, again, do the things that you want to achieve. Achieve the things that you want to achieve. Do the things that make you happy, that make you feel fulfilled because you want to do them, because these are your decisions, right? You know, otherwise, you know, you do these things that these people want you to do to show them, or, you know, prove to them, right? Prove to them that you can do it. And then what happens is you'll probably look back on your life and you'll be like, oh, what? Well, damn, I summited Everest, but I kind of wanted to go to the moon instead. I didn't want to summit Everest. I wanted to go to space, right? I summited Everest because people told me I should summit Everest, but I wanted to go to space all my life. Or, damn, I married Scarlett Johansson, but I really wanted to marry Jennifer Lawrence, right? It's kind of, or like, you know, I became a billionaire out of pure spite. I solved world hunger because, you know, someone made me feel ashamed about it, and, you know, I just solved it out of pure spite. Not because I solved world hunger because I wanted to impress people. Yeah. I don't think that's the way to live. I don't think that's a way to go forward in your life and try to achieve things. And you'll often, I mean, I've already had experiences with this where, you know, the principle of it, right? I don't know. It could be, you know, a pride or a principle thing, but it's like, you know, people are going to have all these thoughts about you because of your job or your status. And maybe you have the chance to prove them wrong. Maybe you have the chance going into something that they believe you can't do. Maybe you had the chance to do it and prove them wrong. It's never worth it. It's never as satisfying as you think it might be, right? It's never as satisfying as you think it would be. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Do things, accomplish things, achieve things because you want to do it for you, right? Plain and simple. Yeah, again, like, take life at your own pace. It's your life. It's your life. Nobody else's. It's your life. I would say a great little things you could do is, you know, like, set goals for yourself. Make plans, like, make realistic plans that you can achieve. Like, maybe by next year I want to work out, you know, have a good workout routine going, or like by, you know, next month or two have like a few books read or something, or you know, eat better, save money, you know, simple things like that. I find simple things like that could really improve your situation quite a bit. Again, I'm speaking personally. I'm also speaking, you know, I've had friends do the same thing where it's like, you know, okay, I touched on this kind of the same thing a little bit in the last video. I'm sure, I think I did. Where it's like, okay, I could sit here and give into this feeling. I could give into shame. I could give into loneliness, and I could just sulk. And I could just sit here and keep my bad habits, you know, and I can just sulk and feel horrible about myself. Or I could get up. Maybe, you know, work out a little bit. You know, maybe go the extra mile at my job a little bit here and there. I could, you know, go outside, go for a drive, go for a walk. I could read. I could, you know, try to do something that makes me feel good about myself, that would ultimately have me at the end of my day feeling like, yeah, I'm glad I did that today. I'm glad I accomplished that today. You know, and again, like, accomplishing things, right? Achieving things, accomplishing things. It could be be anything. It could be even like little things, right? Like, oh, I went for a walk today. I went outside today. You know, that's all it could be. Like, I went outside today. I went to the park today. I drove to this place today. I went without doing this thing today. That is, you know, that is not a good thing that I usually do. I went without it today, right? Could be, I'm not going to say life-changing, but it could lead to something like that, right? It could be game-changing, right? Yeah, I think, you know, just kind of sum it all up. Shame, again, very tough thing, very hard thing to combat, especially when you have people around you that are putting pressure on you in different ways, right? Like I've known people, I've worked with people too that are kind of like, you know, in my age group that are doing things, are like working towards getting a really great job, or you know, going to school for a great job, have really bright futures, you know, being laid out in front of them, and then they choose to you know, for lack of a better word, shit on other people who don't have all that, right? Who don't have something better lined up. And those people are insufferable, right? You know, just because you've got something good going on doesn't mean you gotta look over to the next person that might not be that well, might not have their future that readily apparently set up, and shit on them for it, right? Because again, I know I've covered this in potentially every single video I've made on this channel. The phenomenon of like, oh, I have to compare myself to my peers. I have to play this comparison game. The comparison game is a cancer. The comparison game is a mental problem. You know, whether it's people in your life, in your real life that you see that are doing great things, that are, you know, they have a great job, going to school, maybe they're in great relationships, maybe they already have, you know, maybe they're already married and have kids, stuff like that. And you gotta feel this way of like, oh my God, I wish I had all that. Oh my God, why can't I have all that? Why am I not there yet? You know, it's not comparable. Your life is not comparable to anyone else's at all. It's just not. It's just not. And to feel that way only worsens your mental state. Trust me. I, again, realize these truths, but it's still hard to like combat it. It's still hard to combat it sometimes. But don't give into that, right? Don't give into shitty people like that, elitist people like that. We all have our own pace. We all have, there's that meme of like, what was it? Vlad the Impaler didn't even start impaling people until he was like middle-aged or something, right? You know, so don't get down on yourself. That's the in summary right there. Don't give in to societal pressure. I know it's hard. It's impossible not to from time to time, but limit it. Feel great about yourself. Take a deep breath. Take some deep breaths sometimes when you're feeling overwhelmed. Hang in there, because you're gonna be great. You're gonna be great. I think that's all I got. I think that's all I got for this one. I was just kind of thinking about this. It's kind of a thing that's been weighing on me for a little, couple days or so. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, maybe subscribe. If you took something away from this, That's wonderful. Glad I could help. Yeah, I'm not great with the outros just yet, but I'll leave it at that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.